A poor boy saved a billionaire CEO's life. What he did next changed his forever. He was 3 seconds away from dying, and the person who saved him had a hole in his left sneaker. If Marcus Chen had looked down at his phone for one more second, he would have been dead before the rain even had time to soak through his $1,000 suit. Before we go any further, I need you to do something. Hit the subscribe button, drop a comment right now, and tell me where in the world you're watching from. Because this story, it's about to go places you won't believe. It was 6:47 p.m. on a miserable November evening in Manhattan. Rush hour had turned the streets into a honking, brake-screeching war zone. Rain came down in sheets, turning every crosswalk into a lake and turning the sidewalks into a minefield of umbrellas and puddle-splashing commuters. Marcus didn't notice any of it. He was too busy screaming into his phone. "Tell the board I'm not taking that loss. Fix it. I don't care how you fix it. Just do it." His thumb was still scrolling through the quarterly numbers when his polished leather shoe left the curb. He stepped into the crosswalk without looking up, without seeing the thing that was about to kill him. The delivery truck, 18 wheels, hauling steel, running a red light so fast the driver never even touched the brakes until it was too late. Screech. The sound alone should have turned his blood to ice, but Marcus didn't hear it. Someone else did. 12-year-old Danny Rivera. He was small enough that most people didn't see him. Just another kid trying to get home before the rain drowned him, wearing a jacket 2 sizes too thin, and sneakers with a hole so big in his left toe that he could feel the puddles through his sock. But he saw it. He saw the truck barreling. He saw the man in the suit, completely oblivious. And without thinking, without hesitating for even a fraction of a second, Danny moved. He lunged. Both hands grabbed the back of Marcus's ridiculously expensive wool coat and yanked with every ounce of strength his scrawny body had. Marcus stumbled back onto the curb so hard he nearly fell on his ass. The truck blew past. So close, the wind from it ripped the umbrella right out of a woman's hand. So close, it sent a tidal wave of freezing gutter water up the back of Marcus's legs. So close that if Danny had been half a second slower, Marcus Chen would have been paced on 42nd Street. Silence. Just the rain. Just the pounding of Marcus's heart in his throat. He looked up, panting, his phone still somehow clutched in his hand. Then he looked down at the kid, soaked to the bone, breathing hard, holding onto his coat like he wasn't sure Marcus was done, almost dying. Marcus finally found his voice. "You just saved my life." Danny shrugged like he'd just picked up a drop quarter. "You gotta watch the lights, mister." Then he turned to leave, like it was nothing, like he hadn't just done something that would have cost most people everything. And that was Marcus's first thought. Why is he walking away? Why isn't he asking for anything? That question would change both of their lives forever. The billionaire tried to hand a kid a stack of cash. The kid looked at him like he'd just insulted his mother. "Wait," Marcus called, chasing after him through the rain. "Hold on, son." Danny stopped reluctantly. "You can't just do that and walk away." Marcus fumbled for his wallet with shaking hands. "Name your price, anything, $1,000, $10,000. Just tell me." He pulled out a thick wad of hundreds, holding it like it was on fire. Danny looked at the cash, then at Marcus, and his face twisted into something Marcus had never seen directed at him before. Disgust. "I didn't do it for money." The way he said it made Marcus feel like he was the one who'd done something wrong. "My mom says we don't take handouts. I just didn't want you to get smooshed, that's all." He turned again. "Okay, well, at least let me buy you dinner," Marcus blurted. "It's the absolute least I owe you. Please." Danny hesitated. His stomach betrayed him with a loud, unmistakable growl. He tried to play it off. "Nah, I'm good." Marcus saw right through it. "When was the last time you ate today?" "Breakfast." It was a lie. Marcus didn't call him on it. He just opened the door to his idling Mercedes. "Get in, 30 minutes. That's all I'm asking." Danny looked from the car to Marcus to the street. Every instinct his mother had ever drilled into him was screaming stranger danger. But he was soaked, starving, and his little sister Sophia was waiting for him at home with nothing but a can of beans unless he figured something out. 30 minutes, Danny said finally. But I gotta be home by 7. My sister's waiting. 10 minutes later, they were crammed into a booth at Sal's Diner. Vinyl seats.
A jukebox playing Springsteen. And it was perfect. Marcus had deliberately told his driver to skip the 5-star restaurants. He wanted to see who this kid actually was. Danny tried to order the cheapest thing on the menu, a grilled cheese. Marcus snatched the menu from his hands. No, you're getting the deluxe cheeseburger, extra fries, a chocolate milkshake, and start with the chicken soup. Danny's eyes went wide. Mister, that's too much. Marcus, call me Marcus. Okay, Marcus, that's too much. Kid, you just saved my life. If you don't eat every last fry, I'm going to be offended. The food came. Danny tried to be polite, tried to eat slow. He failed miserably. He inhaled that burger like he'd never seen food before. Marcus pretended not to notice, just sipped his coffee and watched. So, Marcus said, what's your name? Danny Rivera. Where's your mom, Danny? She works, 2 jobs, hospital janitor during the day, cleaning offices at night. And your dad? Danny's shoulders tensed. He died 4 years ago. Marcus felt that one like a punch. Little sister? Sophia, she's 7. Who's watching her right now? Nobody, she's at home. I made her a peanut butter sandwich before I left for school. I gotta get back soon so she can eat again. Marcus did the math. No dad, 2 jobs, 2 kids, no food. Do you like school? Danny perked up for the first time. Yeah, I'm in 7th grade straight A's. What do you like about it? I like building stuff. My teacher, Mr. Delaney, says I got a gift. I make stuff for Sophia all the time. He pulled out his cracked duct-taped phone and showed Marcus a picture. A lopsided cardboard robot with bottle cap eyes. I wanted to see how the gears would work, but I didn't have any gears, so I used pencils and rubber bands. Marcus stared at that picture. This wasn't a kid playing. This was an engineer trying to claw his way out of the Bronx with nothing but rubber bands and sheer willpower. He knew that look, because he'd had it. Okay, Danny, Marcus said, leaning forward. If you could have anything in the world right now, what would it be? No limits. Danny didn't hesitate, not for a second. A laptop. Marcus was expecting a house, a car, $1 million. Not that. Why a laptop? So I can take the free engineering courses online. The library closes at 8. After Sophia goes to sleep, I could keep learning. I could actually practice. Marcus sat back. This kid wasn't asking for a handout. He was asking for a tool that was the moment he knew. All right, Marcus said. I'm going to make you an offer. But before I do, I need you to understand something. I'm not giving you charity. You're going to earn every damn thing. Danny sat up straighter. Okay. I'm Marcus Chen. I run Chen Global Industries. We build bridges, skyscrapers, infrastructure all over the world. Starting this Saturday, you're my new junior innovation intern. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday. You're going to work with my engineers. You're going to learn CAD, 3D modeling, the works. You're getting paid $25 an hour. You're getting a laptop, software, everything you need. And if you keep your grades up, I'm paying for your college, any school you get into, full ride. Danny's mouth fell open. He looked like someone had just told him the sky was green. But I'm 12, sir. Why me? Marcus smiled, and for the first time all night, it was real. The lobby was all glass and marble and people who looked like they owned the world. The security guard looked down at Danny's duct-taped backpack and gave him the kind of look that said, "Lost delivery kid." "He's with me," Marcus said, appearing behind him. They took the elevator to the 47th floor, engineering. Marcus introduced him to the team. Priya Kapoor, the lead engineer, was the first to speak. "Marcus, he's 12. Yes, teach him." Priya sighed. "All right, kid. You want to be an engineer? Solve a problem. Cafeteria trays are garbage. Make them better." Danny got to work. For 3 straight hours, he sketched, erased, sketched again. By the time Priya came back, he'd designed a modular tray with stackable compartments, built-in heat retention, and a design that could be washed in half the time. Priya picked it up, looked at it, looked at him. Okay, I was wrong. From that moment on, nobody looked at his age again. They looked at his brain, but not everyone was impressed. At school, the second word got out that Danny was working for a billionaire. It started. Charity case. Sellout. Teacher's pet. They made fun of his backpack, made fun of his old clothes, made fun of Sophia. One day, a kid named Tyler cornered Sophia at recess and called her poor trash. Danny saw red. He shoved Tyler, hard, suspended for 3 days. Marcus was furious. Tell me who he is. I'll handle it. Danny shook his head. No, that's exactly what they want. They want me to be the angry poor kid. I want to show them they're wrong. Marcus bit his tongue. Okay, how? Danny grinned. I'm entering the citywide science fair. He worked for weeks. After Sophia went to sleep, he was up until midnight refining his design. His project, affordable earthquake-resistant housing for low-income communities. Using modular materials, simple assembly, and cost-cutting techniques he'd learned at Chen Global, he did it all himself. Refused Marcus's help. This one's mine. The day of the fair, the judges were a panel of professors and engineers. They walked past projects with robots and volcanoes. Then they stopped at Danny's. They spent 20 minutes grilling him. By the end, one of them looked at the others and said, "This is better than half the graduate theses I've seen." Danny won first place, $5,000 scholarship. The local news ran the story. 12-year-old from Bronx designs life-saving housing. The bullies didn't say a word after that. They just stared. 1 year later, the same kid who had a hole in his sneakers stood in front of a boardroom of billionaires and told them exactly what they were going to do. Exactly 1 year after that rainy night, Danny Rivera, now 13, stood at the head of the Chen Global boardroom. He wore a suit that actually fit. His hair was combed, and he wasn't shaking, not even a little. 50 shareholders sat around the table, men and women who'd spent their lives making money. Marcus stood off to the side, arms crossed, trying not to look like a proud dad, failing miserably. Danny cleared his throat. 1 year ago, I pulled Mr. Chen back from a truck. Today, I'd like to show you what we're going to build because of it. He clicked the remote. Up on the screen, renderings of modular, solar-powered, earthquake-resistant homes. These cost less than $25,000 to build. They can be assembled in under a day, and we're going to build 10,000 of them, starting in Guatemala, then Haiti, then right here in underserved communities across America. He walked them through the numbers, the logistics, the materials. He answered every question without breaking a sweat. When he was done, the room was silent. Then it erupted into a standing ovation. The board approved a $500 million investment on the spot. Danny Rivera had just changed the trajectory of a billion-dollar company, and he'd done it by thinking about people, not profits. Time jumped again. MIT graduation day. Danny, 18, in cap and gown, summa cum laude in civil engineering. Maria sat in the audience next to Marcus. She was retired now. Marcus had quietly made sure of it. Sophia, now 12, sat next to her wearing a Chen Scholars t-shirt, already dreaming of NASA. Danny took the podium for his valedictorian speech. He looked out at the crowd and smiled. I pulled a man back from a truck when I was 12. It took 3 seconds. He spent the next 6 years pulling me toward a future I didn't know existed. Mentorship isn't charity. It's seeing someone. It's believing in them before they believe in themselves. If you're sitting here with power, don't wait. Look around. The next world changer might be sitting in the back row wearing hand-me-downs, or standing on a street corner in the rain. He paused, looking directly at Marcus. Mr. Chen, thank you for seeing me. After the ceremony, Marcus handed Danny an envelope. What's this? Open it. Inside, the deed to a house, a modest but beautiful home in Queens. For your mom, Marcus said. She earned every square foot of it. Danny's face crumpled. Marcus, I can't. You can, and you will, because you earn this, Danny. Every Saturday, every A. Every time you chose to lift someone else up instead of tearing them down. This isn't a gift. It's a debt I was lucky enough to repay. Danny hugged him. Hard. You're not my boss anymore, are you? Danny choked out. No, Marcus whispered, his voice thick. I'm your family. The plaque on that street corner says more about wealth than any bank account ever could. Years later, on that exact Manhattan street corner, there was a small bronze plaque embedded in the concrete. Most people walked right past it. But if you stopped, you'd read this. On this corner, a boy saved a man, and a man saved a boy. Both were forever changed. May we all see each other when the rain is falling. Danny Rivera became the Chief Innovation Officer at Chen Global by 25. He launched the Second Chance Initiative, which had helped over 2,000 kids from underserved communities get into STEM. Sophia became an aerospace engineer at NASA. Maria planted roses in her front yard for the first time in her life, and Marcus, he lived to be 79. At his funeral, Danny stood at the podium looking out at the sea of people. He taught me the most important thing I'll ever know, Danny said, his voice cracking. Wealth isn't what you have in your bank account. It's how many people you pull back from the curb when they're too busy looking down. He looked up. So I ask you, who are you going to pull back today? If this story hit you, here's the truth. You don't need to be a billionaire. You don't need millions. You just need to see someone. See the kid with the hole in his sneaker. See the person who's hungry for a chance, not a handout. Share the story with someone who needs to believe that one moment can change everything. Tell me in the comments, who was the Marcus in your life? Who saw you when nobody else did? Because that's the real wealth, and that's the kind of inheritance that lasts forever. Subscribe for more stories that remind us what actually matters.